It is a beautiful evening for soccer along Florida's first coast as Sporting JAX gets set to host Dallas Trinity FC in Gainbridge Super League action. Our match presented by Ascension St. Vincent's. Hello, everybody. Along with the former national championship winning coach at Florida, Becky Burley, I'm Cole Pepper. Becky, we're expecting a very attractive matchup here tonight between these two clubs.
Love the two styles of both of these teams. Going to be interesting to see who can impose upon whom. Both
of these teams should be feeling good about themselves as well. Jacksonville just came off the first victory in club history. They did it away at the defending champion Tampa Bay Sun. After a 0-0 first half, Meg Hughes opened the scoring with a goal just after halftime. Ashlyn Puerta delivered from the spot, and then later on a short corner. What a big win for Jacksonville. Sporting JAX getting the first win against the Florida rival and the defending champs.
And not only that, to come out on top after holding on to the 3-2 victory is huge.
Well, and our Adidas player to watch is that young lady right there. Ashlyn Puerta scored the first brace in club history, and she plays well beyond her years at just 18 years old.
Absolutely. Her execution, her creativity are a thing of beauty.
We'll be keeping an eye on Puerta tonight. As for Dallas, a team that has won each of their first two matches this year, they're the only club in the Gainbridge Super League to have pulled 6 points from two matches to start the season. Beat Spokane to open the year, and then came back with a rough and tumble matchup against Brooklyn and won 1-0 on this goal. Becky, this is a team feeling good about the way they're playing right now.
Feeling great about the way they're playing.
One of the players driving Dallas right now is Winnie Bellata, one of just 6 players this year in the league to have a goal and an assist in the first 2 games of the season.
She's certainly one to watch, and I'm excited to see her because she just is coming on strong.
Talked about the styles we expect here. It could be a very attractive game if you like to see two teams that want to play. Let's check in with Emerson Burris for more on that story.
Dallas Trinity and Sporting JAX pride themselves on a similar style of play, organization, possession, and working as a unit. Dallas wants to keep the ball, move the ball, and attack on the front foot, but last week in Brooklyn, they weren't able to do that tactic. They only had possession 41% of the game. Sporting JAX, meanwhile, is dominating in that area. 3 of the top 10 passers in the league are Sophia Bowman, Julia Lester, and Georgia Brown of Sporting JAX. So we should expect a very tactical and tight matchup tonight here at Hodges Stadium.
Kickoff in the starting lineups coming up right after this. Sporting JAX hosting Dallas Trinity FC here at Hodges Stadium. Ascension St. Vincent's has delivered award-winning compassionate care across Northeast Florida.
Caitlin Clark, amazing at assists. Gainbridge, the ultimate assist for your savings. But ever since they teamed up, she's taken assisting to a whole new level. Caitlin Clark, great at assists. Gainbridge, great at assists for your savings.
Greetings from Jacksonville, the flip side of Florida. Here side, anything is possible, except running out of things to do.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by the Gainbridge Super League, by Ascension St. Vincent's, by Adidas, Honda of the Avenues, Echo East Coast Transportation, Sunbelt Rentals, and Gatorade. This Sporting JAX side with one change to the starting lineup from the matchup in Tampa. Daviana Vaca will start at left back in this 3-5-2 formation.
And Vaca has gotten tons of experience already this year by coming into both matches, and I'm excited to see her get her first start.
That is the Jacksonville starting lineup, brought to you by Echo East Coast Transportation, bringing the teams to compete. For Dallas, we do see a 4-3-3 formation, and Celie Strawn, another young player to keep an eye on, playing on that front line for Dallas.
Absolutely. This is going to be a battle of the young players with Strawn on one side, Puerta on the other. It'll be really interesting to see the styles that we can contrast and compare with those two.
Strawn, just 17 years of age, was the Young Player of the Year in the Gainbridge Super League last season. First matchup on the road for Dallas, as we mentioned. First two wins came at home. There's a look at Amber Wisner, the captain, veteran, over 11,000 minutes played in her professional career. And she has come in and taken hold of this team. You see the captain for Sporting JAX there on the left, Sophie Jones, getting the team ready to go before this one. Sporting JAX has dealt with some weather this year. Had a tornado warning the night of the first match of the season. Game didn't get started until almost 10 p.m. They lost a preseason friendly against the Scottish champions Hibernian FC. So this is a real treat. Jacksonville has been waiting for this night to have this kind of weather. A few clouds in the sky, but no threat of any sort of weather to impact this one. So we're just about ready to go here from Hodges Stadium on the campus of the University of North Florida.
I'm fired up about the fact that we're getting to play without any delays. Let's go. This is exciting.
There's Ashlyn Puerta. Played one season at Florida State, then turned pro. Scored 5 goals for the Seminoles as a freshman. That tells you something about her capability.
And she's off to a hot start with Sporting JAX. Let's keep that going.
On the left of the screen, Jade Pennick, who scored the first goal in Sporting JAX history. And as we saw in the opener for Sporting JAX, the goalkeeper has come up to kick off. Jamie Gerstenberg getting the second straight start at goalkeeper for Jacksonville. And she'll probably boot this one deep. And she does. It's pulled in by Samar Gidry on the back line for Dallas. It's a matchup of the newest team in the league and the hottest team in the league here in Jacksonville.
I love the tactic of playing deep to start and hopefully continue with the press and win the ball in the opponent's final third, and get things rolling right from the start.
We'll see how much this game is played in the midfield. Dallas admitted they didn't really have the opportunity to play the way they want to play against Brooklyn. It was a very physical game.
It's really hard to keep possession when it's so disruptive. The number of yellow cards in that game probably exceeded what should be given out in a season. So for them to be able to come out on top in that game is pretty impressive when they can't play exactly the way they want to.
Kept in by Dallas for the moment. Georgia Brown tried to clear it out. And Vaca now boots it away. Both of these teams also have been very intentional in terms of finding players who have connections to their locales. There are 9 former college players from Texas schools on the Dallas roster. And you start talking about the players from Florida, either playing their college games in Florida or high school. Similar for Jacksonville. This one knocked free and then cleared out for the moment for Jacksonville. Sophie Jones, a light touch.
Dallas is doing a good job of putting real pressure on not letting Sporting JAX clear the ball, but it seems like finally Sporting JAX got a hold of it and now building out.
Here is Paige Kenton playing wide to Julia Lester, former Florida Gator. She'll send this one down the line.
You know, Lester's such a versatile player because she can play in the back three, she can play wide in the 5, and you know, she brings a threat athletically on either side of the ball.
On loan from Seattle Reign for the rest of the year.
I feel like teams who want to possess, like, it's really important early to establish that. Right now, neither team has quite gotten there yet, but I think we're going to see that happening in the next few minutes.
It's been a little uneven with some of the passing for both teams so far. Here's Puerta chasing after Bellata. Played forward to Tamara Bolt. On loan from Washington Spirit. Cut off by Sporting JAX. Now Sophie Jones again to circle it back.
And Sophie Jones is certainly somebody you want to get on the ball because she's one of the people who can really settle things down and get the rhythm going. On the Dallas side of things, you know, Amber Wisner, she's a veteran, not only in experience, but also in her ability to just dictate the pace of the game.
She has been the ultimate professional example, according to Chris Petroselli, the general manager and acting head coach. And so many good things to say about Wisner. And now here comes Lester on the run and whistled for a little contact going up against the former Texas Longhorn Sierra Hinson. Both teams still feeling the game out here in the early stages. We mentioned Dallas winning the first 2 matches at home last year with a similar squad. They had a few changes, but the core is still here. They won 5 matches away. That was tied for 3rd best in the league. So they certainly are capable of going on the road and coming home with 3 points.
And, you know, Jacksonville's still looking for the first home win. And if they could do that, to be able to stop a team that's on a roll like Dallas is so far would be quite a feat.
And the first corner of the game coming up. And it's Hinson coming from her left back position to take this one. We'll keep an eye out on Maya McCutcheon, number 11, center back, scored a goal on a corner last week against Brooklyn.
Yeah, and I believe that was her first goal, and they're definitely looking to target her, so being aware of where she is and making sure that they're marked is going to be really important. And Brooks is no slouch on corners either. I should say Wisner. She can find the back of the net with that too.
And the offside flag up. One other thing to follow here in this match, all 3 of Dallas's goals this year have been scored on headers.
Wow.
So we'll see if one gets to the foot for Trinity FC. Amy Gerstenberg. And this one rolls out just ahead.
Feel like Dallas's pressure is playing in the nerves a little bit of Sporting JAX, and being able to build out of the back is an important part of what they want to do. So we'll see which side imposes on each other when it comes to this pressure versus the ability to build.
This is a very young Sporting JAX team. Of course, the first year in the league for Jacksonville, but also just the roster makeup. Just over 22 years of age, average age on this roster. Dallas, a little over 24 years of age. So a couple extra years of experience on average for the Dallas players. Tamara Bolt, one of those that certainly has some experience to fall back on for Dallas.
And, you know, that age difference might... Ooh, you've got an opportunity here.
Here's a run out. Sophia Bowman waiting for help to come. Bowman tried to stay with it. It'll be a throw in for Jacksonville.
Back to the age issue, you know, 2 years might not seem like a significant difference between the 2 teams, but I think when it's 2 years right out of the college space or less than the college space, that makes a big difference, because those 2 years can be just a world of difference in terms of dealing with a whole bunch of different situations.
Here's Maddie Kemp. Tried to chip it in. Now Lester for the throw. And the offside flag up. Now the best flurry for Jacksonville so far in the opening 8 minutes. But I think you're right, there do seem to be some nerves for both these teams. I think both teams may understand the importance here early on of this matchup. Long way to go in the season, but when you have a team coming off a victory and another coming off 2 straight wins, you know both sides are certainly aware of what the other one has done.
And not only that, I think it's the style of play matchup too.
This one through to Puerta, couldn't handle it on a heavy touch.
Both teams want to establish that because they want to play the way they want to play. Certainly Dallas doesn't want to play like they did against Spokane.
Here's Pennick. Couldn't get a foot to it. And now a counter opportunity for Dallas, but a whistle, and Thornton was cut off on the run there by Vaca.
You know, acting head coach Chris Petroselli mentions Thornton may be an underrated player, which is hard to believe is the Golden Boot, but I think a lot of the things she does sometimes aren't as flashy as what we see with some other players in the league, but certainly more than effective.
Last year, 13 goals for Dallas. We'll see how Jacksonville defends this one. A lot of steps over it. Chipped in. The header and a save made by Jamie Gerstenberg on the dive.
And who's on the end of that but Wisner? Certainly a threat in the air. Always a defensive presence in the air, but can be an offensive presence as well.
Here's a chip over the top. Tried to get it to Puerta. And too much on it. Let's take another look at that save by Gerstenberg. Former Big Ten Goalkeeper of the Year at the University of Indiana. And at 5'11", she used her entire length to corral that one.
Yeah, here we are coming on to 10 minutes in. Still a bit choppy. I think it's going to be a real battle to see who can establish themselves from a possession standpoint in this game. And the press from both teams is certainly affecting that.
Here's Lester laying it back to Paige Kenton. Kenton has played both on the back line and up top for Jacksonville here through the first 3 games. Very versatile player.
And not a skill set you always see at the highest level, so super impressive that she's equally effective in both spots.
Here's Sophie Jones, the former Duke Blue Devil. And to Puerta. Now Sophia Bowman. Bowman just never seems to stop. Inexhaustible energy in the midfield for Sporting JAX. And she comes back defending there. Another pressure play by Dallas, and it pays off. A giveaway for Jacksonville. Dallas has certainly been on the front foot for the most part here in the opening 11 minutes.
And maybe to be expected with a bit more experience, but I wouldn't count Sporting JAX out in terms of being able to establish themselves here. I think they've done a good job of trying to play balls that are breaking lines, but ultimately those balls are getting played backwards instead of continuing forward.
That shot of them walking out with a cloud, dude, looked like a freaking movie, dude. Because it was all orange, dude.
Well, this Jacksonville team is learning more about themselves as they go.
I think that's the beauty of a brand new team. You really get to see improvement from game to game, and we have certainly seen that from 1 to 2, and hopefully from 2 to 3.
Now get in the midfield. Kemp feeding it off to Puerta. Ashlyn Puerta threading it through. Pennick can't quite get there. Cut off by Riley Foster, who came off her line to cover it up.
And clearly Pennick demonstrating that she was held there. but it was a really, really well-weighted ball for Puerta if in fact Pennick was held, because that looked like it was going to be right on the mark.
Jacksonville with pressure now as well. Puerta trying to chase after it. Both, as we mentioned, both teams playing a very similar style here in the first half. Here's McCutcheon. Jacksonville continue to try to apply pressure.
I think Sporting JAX is going to really need to be aware of where Brooks is, because she's certainly going to try and dictate here. And in that last case, she had way too much space.
Cameron Lancaster went down, tackled by Daviana Vaca. You see Wisner there now arguing her case. Take another look. Vaca recovering, got to the ball first, and then collided with Lancaster. Yellow card shown to Lancaster.
You know, there's no doubt there was contact there. Was it a yellow card offense? That might be debatable, but certainly we're hoping that Cam Lancaster comes out of that with nothing serious.
Former TCU star, 22 assists while at TCU, third most in program history. Again, we mentioned a lot of players who played their college soccer in the state of Texas on this Dallas roster. Vaca there to clear it away. Pennick. Back to Bowman. Now wide to Lester. And again, unable to develop anything.
You can see what they were thinking there, and I think if Lester had been able to keep that ball in bounds, that could have been a really dangerous situation with the width for Sporting JAX.
Select, the official match ball supplier of the Gainbridge Super League and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. Sporting JAX trying to find that breakthrough here at home. Lost the opener here at Hodges Stadium to DC Power. Scored first through Jade Pennick, 7 minutes in, but wound up losing 3-1. Lancaster trying to play a ball along the ground. Vaca there to cut it off. Now Maddie Kemp. First quarter hour in the books here. 0-0 between Jacksonville and Dallas. And Trinity will reset. This one played a long way, but no threat there. Make Hughes circling back to it.
You know, I think the organization of both teams is really showing well here, because so many passes are just being intercepted. And you could say something about the possession side of that, but you could also say something about how organized both teams are defensively.
Pretty clear that both teams want to take away what the other does best. In this case, it's sort of the same thing. Here's Meg Hughes. A goal and an assist through her first 2 matches.
It seems that Dallas really knows how much Sophie Jones is a part of this build, because almost matching up with her man-to-man.
Now ahead, here's Lester battling along the near side, being chased after by Hinson, and it will be a goal kick. Let's go down to the sidelines and check in with a third member of our broadcast team, Emerson Burris.
Thanks, guys. Dallas goalkeeper Riley Foster has one of the most inspiring stories in this league. Back in 2021, her career nearly ended after a devastating car crash that left her with 7 fractures in her neck and vertebrae, while also injuring her cheekbone, knee, and lung. Doctors weren't sure if she'd ever play again, but after a long recovery, Foster not only returned to the field, she's now anchoring Dallas's defense and has recorded a clean sheet already this season. For her, every save is a reminder of just how far she's come.
No doubt about it. And Riley Foster, 3 straight victories. She also has grandparents who were both born in South Liverpool, and she has a tattoo that says, "You'll never walk alone." And while that's certainly fitting for Liverpool FC, I think through her journey, that's probably been a good reminder as well.
You know, her college coaches talk about how inspiring she was, because there was a time where absolutely not sure if she was going to play again. And now to be playing at this level is pretty amazing story.
A little bump and whistle. There's Meg Hughes knocking into Tamara Bolt. Now Balada will look to restart. McCutcheon now to Wisner. Wisner directing traffic right in the middle of the field. Now back to McCutcheon. Center back coming forward. Cuts it inside. Sophie Jones is right there for Sporting JAX. Tried to get it to Pennick. Didn't have a clean reception. And Dallas with another opportunity.
You know, when you're playing against a really good possession team, that hold-up play becomes even more important.
Lifted over the top. And now a whistle. Was that inside or outside of the box? Looks like it was just outside of the box. So this will be a free kick from a dangerous position. Taking a look at Meg Hughes defending on the wing. Well, that was right on the line.
I do think the ref got that right, though. She was outside the box. And that's fortunate for Sporting JAX.
Now let's see. Looks like it will either be Balada or McCutcheon on this one. From right next to the side of the 18-yard box. Balada going short with it. Knocked over the top. Jamie Gerstenberg got a hand on it as Sierra Hinson hit a rocket.
That was a rocket. And, you know, it's interesting because Hinson was the offensive player of the year in college and now has been playing a defensive role here. But we just saw her offensive tools on full display.
And she'll take the corner as we cross the 20-minute mark. Sierra Hinson swinging it in and headed up and away. I believe it was a Dallas head that touched it last. And it will be a throw for Jacksonville.
I think one of the keys to this game is certainly going to be how well Amber Brooks dictates pace in the midfield for Dallas and how well Sophie Jones dictates for Sporting JAX. Although they're not directly matched up, the influence they have on the pace of the game is going to be really important. Captain
versus captain in a way. Played over the top and cleared out by Sporting JAX for the moment.
I also think Dallas has done a great job of adding athleticism to this roster, and to see how Sporting JAX manages that athleticism, I think is going to be another big key to this game.
It's one of the big things that Chris Petroselli said he wanted to do in the offseason was to be able to create more athletic imbalance with oppositions. That was a real focus in the offseason. I asked him about handling both roles, both the head coaching role and the GM role. He said, right now, not too bad. Pretty much just a coach right now. When you start looking at player acquisition, that's when it gets busy.
Absolutely. But I will say he's done a great job in the player acquisition in terms of wanting to increase that athleticism. I think he did just that in the offseason.
This one played over the top. Here is Sporting JAX coming forward. Puerta looking for some room, slides it in. Kemp. Maddie Kemp just wide.
I mean, Puerta just makes things happen with her creativity. Certainly nobody was looking at the no-look pass and caught Dallas off guard and almost cost him a goal.
Watch this pass by Puerta. Little back heel.
Great near post coverage by Foster.
There have been a few moments here in the early goings for both sides. And this time Bolt can't handle it. It'll be a throw in for Jacksonville. Halfway through the first half here at Hodges Stadium. Here is Julia Lester. Now Maddie Kemp. Paige Kenton under pressure. Sealy Strawn chasing after her. Kenton gets away.
You know, you got to admire the patience of Sporting Jacks, but at times it looks like they're running out of options as well. So if they can find that balance, as they might have right here, now they can create some opportunities.
Here's Meg Hughes out wide. Puts one up in the air. Bowman chases after it. This one swung in. Headed just over the top. Puerta again right in the middle of things.
You know, there's a reason why Puerta was a player to watch before this game, and certainly the opportunity to be on the end of a deflection and almost sneak it in is pretty impressive.
She has been very involved here this first half after the brace last weekend. Once again, Jacksonville trying to put something together. Here's Puerta sliding it through once again. Kemp couldn't quite get to it. A little too much weight on that ball from Puerta, and the offside flag was up. For the latest on Sporting Jacks, tune in to the Sporting Jacks Report. Weekends on the stations of First Coast News.
That was just a slightly heavy touch. Could have led to a really great opportunity. But the fact that Sporting Jacks is putting pressure on Dallas's back line now is something to watch.
Now a breakaway opportunity for Dallas. Thornton into the middle, and this one all the way through. It'll be a throw for Jacksonville. That was a dangerous moment momentarily. Pennick to Kemp, back to Jade Pennick. Kemp out wide, has three players coming in support. Back to Pennick, and again, just a little bit heavy on that first touch.
You know, Pennick did a great job of keeping that ball. I actually thought she was going to go out the opposite side, but it sort of unbalanced the defense when she went right. And I think we're going to see these options opening up more and more the better she does in terms of running at the back line rather than receiving back to goal.
Pennick etched her name in club history with the first goal a couple of weeks ago. She and Stacey Balaam have history going back to when Balaam coached her in college. Pennick then returned to England, her home country. Her last stop was in Australia, where she won the A-League Championship with the Central Coast Mariners. Scored 7 goals and 3 assists in 27 matches there. And she is going to be counted on to be a goal scorer for Jacksonville.
It's interesting because I feel like the Pennick, Stacey Balaam is similar to the Winnie Bellata and Chris Petroselli story.
And maybe not as much time has elapsed in between the two, but both college coaches, both now coaching the player as a professional in the Gainbridge Super League. Here's Kemp between three and couldn't find much room. Easily handled by Riley Foster.
Looks like she tried to bend that with the outside of her foot, which wasn't a bad idea, just couldn't quite get enough on it.
Kemp started her college career at Gonzaga and then finished up at Kentucky, where she was a teammate of Grace Philpotts, who is on the Sporting Jacks roster. Here's Bowman with Lester to her right and Pennick to her left. Puerta making a run, sliding it to the outside, and corner kick coming for Jacksonville.
You can feel the momentum building a little bit for Sporting Jacks. You know, I think Dallas started this game on the front foot, but I think Sporting Jacks has played their way into this.
Sporting Jax Corners presented by Sunbelt Rentals, in your corner for all your equipment needs. Puerta couldn't find an opening. Throw in coming for Jacksonville along the near sideline. Campo, nice little header. Puerta couldn't quite close to it. McCutcheon got there to cut it off. And another throw for Jacksonville. First 10 minutes or so, the pitch was tilted in Dallas's favor. Since then, it's been slowly but surely heading to the home team side.
And good opportunities for both. I think it's going to take a little bit of a special moment to crack these very, very organized teams.
See the possession numbers so far in the game. That has been what we've seen out of Sporting Jax over the first two games. High possession, a lot of passes. Pretty good passing percentage for the most part as well. Kirstenberg. It's one a long way. Lester chased after it and forces a throw for Jacksonville. Maddie Kemp going quickly. Pennick back to Kemp. And again, that's been sort of the bugaboo for Jacksonville in this game. Sporting Jax has not been able to always have the clean touch in those opportunities.
Now, I ran into Chris Petroselli, acting head coach in the airport yesterday, and we were talking about assistant coach Alan Kirkup for Sporting Jax, and he's like, well, you can clearly see his influence on this team with the possession style, and I think Stacey Ballum is very bought into that as well.
Yeah, it's one thing that, talk about alignment within an organization. Mark Warburton, the head of soccer, who's celebrating a birthday today, he wants to play that style. Stacey Ballum wants to play that style. Here's Kemp on the run. Couldn't get to it before Foster jumped on it. So you have all the way up and down the organization the same perspective on the game, how they want to play.
Well, that really helps. And happy birthday, Mark.
I don't know exactly what he has on his birthday list, but I think 3 points might be right at the top.
I think he would take that.
Kirstenberg, again, putting it over the top. Pennick on the run.
You know, Gerstenberg has great distribution with her feet. She's able to put the ball where she wants on a dime. And I think despite the possession-oriented style of Jacksonville, I think that's something that they will always take advantage of.
And now it's like a water break at the 30-minute mark. As you see Amber Wisner there. Let's check in with Emerson Burris down on the sidelines during this break.
Well, as Sporting Jax is the newest addition to the Gamebridge Super League, there's lots of finding their way, and part of that carries over to the fans. The First Coast Ultras, the supporter section down here, braved the weather last week. They don't have those obstacles this week, but tonight at Hodges Stadium is Hispanic Heritage Night, and they are joined by a mariachi band, and the vibes are high down here in the south side of the stadium.
Mariachi's playing earlier. Loved it. Bring a little flavor to the game.
Thank you.
See part of the supporter section there. They spent the first home match in the sideline stands here at Hodges Stadium, but now have set up behind the goal. As you look at Ashlyn Puerta, Georgia Brown on the right. The first two players signed by Sporting Jax. One, Puerta, went to FSU for a year. Georgia Brown there on the left. Completed her career at the University of South Florida, USF, in Tampa. They're used to playing.
Well, I love that. You know, you talked about earlier about the Texas connection for the Trinity. The Florida connection for Sporting Jax is certainly going strong, too. And this water break was probably necessary. I mean, we're in the evening. We're not getting rained on, so we hate to complain about the weather, but there's some heavy humidity out there tonight.
Yeah, and you can see it on the shirts of all of these players. And earlier this week, had a little bit of a break in Jacksonville from some of that summer humidity. The heat didn't completely rebound over the last couple of days, but the humidity has come back. Highs were in the low 90s today.
And certainly both of these teams are pretty used to that, so no real advantage for either one.
Here's Wisner. Look at Puerta chasing after it. Poked away by Bowman. She and Sophie Jones combining on it. There's Vaca. Now to Meg Hughes.
Looks like Sophie got a little banged up in that collision. Let's hope that that's nothing serious.
So you're trying to tough it out in the middle of the park there, right at the halfway line. Slide tackle by Bowman there, and the whistle. Sophie Bowman, former University of Minnesota captain, 2 years as the captain of what she calls the U.
Well, Bowman's engine never stops, and I think that's where she's given the shrug of the shoulders in terms of like, what? I'm just going to cover every blade of grass. What do you think?
There's Sophie Jones, as you mentioned earlier, retying the boots.
Yeah, hopefully that's nothing serious, because she's a real important cog in their possession machine.
Yeah, and she popped back up. She's going to head over to the sideline for the moment, so Sporting JAX will play player down until Sophie Jones can come back on. Former Chicago Red Star draft pick. Go short with it, and right at Jamie Gerstenberg, who didn't have to move an inch for that one.
But Dallas has really showed some creative set-piece ability that's getting good looks. I think they could have done a little bit more with the shot. That was a pretty deep shot, but certainly caught Sporting JAX a little off guard with their creativity.
Leicester chasing after it. Henson got there first. Maddie Kemp. Played back to Foster.
The Hinton-Leicester matchup is a good one. Both are really athletic. Both are wanting to get up and be on both sides of the field. Work rate for both of them is tremendous. That's an exciting matchup to watch.
Sporting JAX right now playing without the captain, Sophie Jones. Seen a couple of players get up and starting to loosen for Sporting JAX. Here's Celie Strawn out wide. Headed off the arm of Georgia Brown.
Luckily, she had that arm tucked in.
Back inside. Brown this time clears it out. Sophie Jones now coming back on the pitch. So both teams back to full strength.
And that's good news for Sporting JAX for sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure that there's a replacement for Sophie Jones. Certainly not in terms of her composure and her ability on the ball. Shot from distance well wide. It'll be a goal kick for Jacksonville. Introducing the Sporting Flex Pack. Get your seats for any 4 games for the rest of the season for Sporting JAX. All part of the 4-game Sporting Flex Pack starting at just $60. Call 904-863-KICK or visit sportingjax.com/flex to lock in your pack today. Gerstenberg had to dive to stop that one. Keeps it in. And now we'll pick it up as Allie Thornton came over to take a look at her.
Once again, this press of Dallas causing Sporting JAX some problems. And part of that's the positioning. I think that the Sporting JAX players are trying to receive the ball as well. A little bit more of the half turn might help them be a little bit more in tune with the vision they need to break those lines.
This one headed. Thornton couldn't get to it. Paige Kenton got a foot, and now here's Sophie Jones with her first touch since returning to the pitch. Georgia Brown out wide for Daviana Vaca. Ahead for Meg Hughes. Got to it just before it went out. Couldn't do much with it. Foster back to cover for Dallas.
We talked about Vaca's first start. I think she's done a really good job of staying a little bit more disciplined in her positioning. and being more of a defender and not feeling like she has to do as much offensively. And I think that's given some stability to that back three.
Former Florida Gator who has also played internationally for Tonga.
Certainly her experience coming off the bench in the first 2 games helps her in situations like this where she's put into a starting position.
Here comes Paige Kenton racing forward with Lester to her right. Out wide to the former Gator. Julia Lester plays it in toward the spot. Pettit got a foot to it. Deflected. And then the offside flag up on the near sideline as Puerta was just in an offside position. Once again, Puerta, anytime there's been a dangerous moment, seems like Puerta's had a role to play for Sporting JAX.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, when Lester first served that ball in, I was thinking maybe a little bit more patience there was necessary, but I think she saw both Puerta and Pennick making runs into the box and felt like she could pick them out, and almost did.
Throw for Dallas. We're in the 39th minute. Dallas coming in off of consecutive home victories to start the season. Sporting JAX coming off the first victory in club history last Saturday in Tampa against the defending champs. And now Sophia Bowman getting the yellow card. That might be more about an accumulation of moments than that particular foul.
I think you're absolutely right on that one. And it's tough because they were back to back to back. I think you can't really get away with that at this level and not expect to not receive a card.
Now, first yellow card on Jacksonville after last week. Dallas's opponent was stacking up the yellow cards as if they were collectibles in the game in Brooklyn.
That was outrageous. That many cards in a game. I stopped counting at 8. I think it was higher than that, but it just was outrageous, the disruption that caused.
Chris Petroselli said he was looking forward to a game that would have a little more free flow to it, which we have seen so far here in the first half.
It's certainly hard to get in rhythm when it's just foul after foul. I think the foul count against Dallas was 18. You know, that's just a lot of stoppage of play for sure.
It's Pennick trying to find a way around. Goes back along the sideline. Kemp able to keep it in. Neither side has been able to completely take hold of this one so far. Both have had some moments. This one ahead, Tamara Bolt on the run. Bolt using the speed. And now played out. Bolt, the name Bolt for Tamara is a nickname. And it's in honor of Usain Bolt. So when you talk about speed, you better be able to run if you're going to use Bolt as a nickname or a tagline. She can. And
she certainly can. I think she's one of those additions of, you know, adding athleticism to the team that Chris Petroselli mentioned. And so far she's been pretty contained, which is an impressive feat.
Give credit to Meg Hughes and Daviana Vaca on that side defensively. Now Bolt coming to the middle. Back to Wisner. Will take a shot from distance. Deflected once. And do we have a handball?
You know, Wisner played 3 seasons without missing a game in a row, which is an incredible feat at any level, but particularly at the professional level.
She has, talk about being an iron woman, she has been just that. Captain her junior and senior year at North Carolina. Won a couple of national championships. Player of the year in college. And had her jersey retired in Chapel Hill.
I didn't even know that was a thing. That's impressive. You know, there's so many great players that have come through that UNC program. To say you are having a jersey retired at UNC really means something.
And certainly has been able to play this sport all around the globe. Bayern Munich, Portland Thorns, Seattle Reign, Houston Dash, Adelaide United, Washington Spirit, capped for the U.S. women's national team against Brazil. 513th professional appearance tonight.
Wow. And, you know, the thing about Amber is that she's been a captain at so many different levels and so many different teams. She knows what it takes to lead. And she's leading by example, but she's also not afraid to hold people accountable to standards. I mean, she is truly a pro's pro. Another set piece opportunity here. And, you know, Hinson and Bellata have been pretty creative on this, so let's see what they've got cooked up for this one.
See Sporting JAX trying to set up the defense along the top of the 18-yard box. This one lifted, and Jamie Gerstenberg easily goes airborne to grab it.
You got to love Gerstenberg's decisiveness and her communication. Called that ball early and really just took it out of the air without a problem.
Lester to defend. And Lauren Aldrich, the referee, saying something to Julia Lester. Stacey Balaam wants her team to be more combative. That doesn't necessarily mean more fouls, just don't make it easy on the opposition. I think we've seen that tonight.
Absolutely. And some of that combativeness has just been mental alertness and positioning.
An opportunity here. Here's Strawn. Jacksonville got a little out of sorts there for the moment. Kenton trying to close it down. Got there in time and kicked it off of Strawn's foot. It'll be a throw in for Jacksonville as we near the end of regulation time here in the first half. Stacey Balaam, the head coach there. Hearing we'll have 3 minutes of stoppage time here in the first half.
I'm impressed with Kenton's flexibility in terms of her positioning, but also just her willingness to work. I mean, she's also somebody who's going to cover an awful lot of ground in the course of a match.
Throw went over the head of Pennick, and it's collected by Dallas. Bellata had it for the moment. Now back to Hannah Davidson. Here's Samar Guidry coming forward. This one deflected and then headed away by Georgia Brown. It will be a corner for Dallas here in stoppage time.
You know, one of the things I think we're seeing late in this half is the attacking ability of the defensive players on the Trinity. You know, that's a right back dribbling on the penetration forward and really making things difficult with the overload.
45 minutes. The official time is being kept on the field. The center referee has added a minimum of 3 minutes of extra time in the first half.
Corner for Dallas.
Let's keep our eye on McCutcheon again. And Brooks. Nee Wisner.
This one through, got caught up, and a dangerous moment there. It'll be a goal kick for Jacksonville, but a lot of bodies, and the ball was pinging around like a ping pong match for just a moment.
And I think it was McCutcheon who got the first touch on that.
I think you're right. There she is. Gerstenberg going to take her time here. Sporting JAX probably be okay to go in 0-0 at this point.
Well, we just saw Stacey Balaam taking some notes on her notepad, probably making some adjustments for the second half based on what she's seen out of Dallas. These early games are always a challenge because you don't have a lot to work on.
Now, here comes Dallas trying to slide it through. Lester let it go through. Matter of seconds remaining here in first half stoppage time of this first ever meeting between Dallas Trinity and Sporting JAX. A lot of firsts for the team in Jacksonville this year. First match, first goal, first win have all been recorded so far. Looking for the first home victory.
And we got the first home game without a weather delay.
Hey, we'll take that one. Maybe one last chance for Sporting JAX, depending on how aggressive they'll get. Egg Hughes. On the throw, and that's how the first half ends. 0-0 here in Jacksonville. Both teams had some opportunities. We thought it would be a game that the styles would provide a little bit of entertainment. I think we've seen that in the first 45.
Absolutely. You know, both teams have had some really, really good looks. Both teams have created those looks. Some of it's been off turnovers, but a lot of it has been in the build-up, and that's kind of what we expected with both of these teams.
Jamie Gerstenberg, the goalkeeper for Sporting JAX, and a couple of saves in that first half. Riley Foster, her opposite number, was challenged a couple of times as well. This was a game we expected to be an attractive game that might take a special moment as the first half was playing out. And that continues to be the story for the second half as well. This Sporting JAX team last week was 0-0 at halftime and then scored 3 goals coming out of halftime and held on to a 3-2 final. So who knows what the second half has in store for this one.
Well, I'm sure Sporting JAX would be very happy with that happening. One of the storylines we did follow was the young players, and I think that Puerta has definitely had the edge on Strawn in terms of impact on this half.
Talked about Strawn, the defending young player of the year. We've seen Ashlyn Puerta get into it as well. Let's go down to the field and hear from one of the Sporting JAX players. Emerson Burris standing by with Maddie Kemp.
Maddie, first game at home with no weather delays. How does it feel to be back at home in front of this crowd for the first time?
Good. I think that we probably didn't get the crowd to enjoy our last game as much as we should have. So it's good. I think we're excited to be home, and we're looking to build momentum for sure in the second half.
You have 2 shots so far in the first half. You and Dallas play a very similar style of play. What needs to happen in the second half to gain the advantage?
I think obviously we need to put away our chances, but now that we've got a first half under our belt and know their style a little bit better, I think just playing simple, playing our game, and finding the right opportunities instead of forcing it, because obviously we want to put one in, but waiting for the right moment.
Maddie, thanks so much.
Thanks.
Guys.
Thank you, Emerson. 0-0 at halftime between Sporting JAX and Dallas Trinity. Halftime straight ahead presented by Ascension St. Vincent as we come to you from Hodges Stadium on the UNF campus in the Gainbridge Super League.
From Jacksonville, the flip side of Florida. Here. Anything is possible, except running out of things to do. Learn more at visitjacksonville.com. Greetings from Jacksonville, the flip side of Florida. Running out of things to do. Learn more at visitjacksonville.com.
150 years, Ascension St. Vincent's has delivered award-winning compassionate care across Northeast Florida with 4 hospitals, primary care offices, urgent care centers, and freestanding emergency departments throughout the region. From everyday wellness to advanced specialty care, including heart, cancer, orthopedics, brain and spine surgery, and women's health, we're here for you when you need us most. Get the care you count on, close to home. Learn more at ascension.org/St. Vincent's.
At Honda of the Avenues, we do things a little differently. While we may be a high-volume Honda dealership, we always put our customers first, making the car buying experience what it should be: fun, fast, and easy. You'll always find great deals on our huge selection of new Hondas. Plus, when you buy your new Honda from Honda of the Avenues, you get an additional 1-year maintenance. Come see just how different car buying can be at Honda of the Avenues. Stop by or shop from home at hondaoftheavenues.com.
Prinks tires in the USL help soccer journeys everywhere to drive harder. From city playgrounds to suburban sidelines, from early mornings to late nights, from fun with friends to winner takes all, from the biggest fan to the biggest heart. And at every turn, Prinks tires will be there for the long haul.
Halftime in Jacksonville, Sporting Jackson, Dallas Trinity, 0-0. As the Dinos get set to run here at Hodges Stadium. Let's check some news and notes from around the Gainbridge Super League. We've been talking about it. Jacksonville securing the first win in club history last week. A 3-2 win on Saturday against the reigning champions. We also saw a fast goal, the fastest in league history, just 43 seconds in. Maddie Mercado scoring for Carolina Ascent to set the record. And Hope saves. You bet she does. Hope Heisey with 3 big saves against Brooklyn. She is currently the league's all-time saves leader. She did it last season, and she has started this season. Becky Burley getting it done for Spokane Zephyr. Let's take a look at some scores from around the league. On Wednesday, Brooklyn and Spokane, a 1-1 draw. Spokane will be playing tonight against Fort Lauderdale United. Halftime right now in that matchup in Carolina. They had a weather delay. Started about a half an hour late. Mia Corbin picking up where she left off last year. Scored 12 goals for Carolina Ascent a season ago. She scored to give Ascent the 1-0 lead over Tampa Bay Sun, who are continuing to look for their first victory of the season. Those are the out-of-town scores presented by Gainbridge. Back with more straight ahead here at halftime. Which dino do you got? I'll take the blue one.
I'm going red.
All right. halftime, 0-0 in Jacksonville, but there were some chances. Jamie Gerstenberg able to tackle that one off the head of Amber Wisner. Our halftime highlights presented by Honda of the Avenues. Gerstenberg also pushed one over the top throughout the course of the first half. An attempt from Sierra Hinson. Sporting Jacks, when they got things going, Ashlyn Puerta usually involved. Here she feeds to Maddie Kemp for the opportunity. Kemp able to put it just outside the goal. But there were some chances on both sides. Here, one from Wisner that Gerstenberg was able to save. Definitely some chances. I don't know if the XG necessarily would have reached 1 for either side, but there were some opportunities.
Definitely some opportunities, and a lot of Dallas's opportunities coming off set pieces, which I think JAX definitely needs to pay attention to in the second half.
More shots and shots on target for Dallas. More possession for Sporting Jacks. And a yellow card for each side. The numbers really speak to a 0-0 first half.
Yeah, actually it really does. I mean, it seems like it's been a little bit of shifts in momentum on both sides, but no one really able to sustain.
Halftime stats presented by the University of North Florida. Second half is straight ahead here from Hodges Stadium. Sporting Jacks and Dallas Trinity FC looking for a goal.
Okay, Sporting Jacks fans, it's time to get on your feet for the POI Productions halftime t-shirt toss.
Our coverage of the Gainbridge Super League is brought to you by Gainbridge, the University of North Florida, Pepsi, Visit Jacksonville, SeatGeek, and Delta Marriott Hotels. Back here at Hodges Stadium, see Sophia Bowman and Georgia Brown. We're looking to see if there will be any changes in the lineups to come at the start of the second half here. Becky Burley, I'm not sure if personnel changes are really called for either side. They've played well in spurts.
No, I agree. Unless there's something tactically or injury-wise that we don't know about, but I think both teams have had a pretty good performance. It's just a matter of who's going to really take this game in charge, and where's that special moment going to come from any attacking player, and for either team, that could be an attacking player or a defensive player in the attacking third.
See Jamie Gerstenberg there talking to Matt Cosgriff, goalkeepers coach for Sporting JAX. He is certainly very familiar with the Dallas head coach, Chris Petroselli. Petroselli was the head coach at SMU, while Cosgriff was the goalkeepers coach there. And Petroselli had very positive things to say about Cosgriff this week, talking about his professionalism and how seriously he takes his job. Called him a fantastic guy, a first-class individual. Says he understands the game, is very detail-oriented, and a very hard worker. And continues to ply his trade here in Jacksonville now on the professional level.
Both these teams have such terrific staffs,
yep.
and that's on full display when you see these teams play the way they do.
I was going to say, the first year of the league, as Petroselli commented on, nobody really knew what the league was going to be all about, how it was going to develop. The teams, particularly those that played last season in the inaugural year, certainly got a good feel for that. Sporting JAX, the only team to join the league in year two, had a chance to watch and observe and learn some things, but still, as it was unfolding, still didn't have a full feel for it. And you've seen these two rosters be built or added to. And now Sporting JAX looking for that first home victory. Dallas trying to stay unbeaten and untied on the season. Same 11 will be out there for both sides here to start the second half. See Jade Pennick and Maddie Kemp for Sporting JAX.
I'm not surprised by the lack of changes. I think that's probably warranted given the half that we've seen. It will be interesting to see if this game gets later, if any team is going to make a tactical change or if they're going to make a personnel change that might make a difference in the outcome.
Dallas will have it to kick off to start the second half. They'll send it all the way back to Riley Foster to start here for Dallas. Thornton tried to get ahead to it. Kept in by Puerta for Sporting JAX, and now chipped ahead by Dallas. Daviana Vaca got to it for Sporting JAX. It'll be a throw-in for Dallas to start the second half. Kind of a similar start as we saw in the first half, with Dallas able to gain some ground, but neither side able to score. Here's Bolt on the run. Cut off nicely by the Jacksonville defense, Georgia Brown. Sophie Jones coming back to it.
Well, this first 5 minutes is really critical, and Dallas has gotten out on the front foot again, and now with a set piece in a pretty dangerous spot, and where they've had some effectiveness in their attack in the first half.
It'll be a wide spot here. Both Hinson and Bellata standing over it, as they have for most of these free kicks.
Yeah, clearly these are their two set-piece specialists, and they've done a great job.
Hinson runs over it. Bellata sends it to the back post. Too high, though. And good opportunity there for the moment, but Bolt could not get to it.
That was a well-served ball, maybe just out of reach, but man, dangerous place, tough one for the goalkeeper to be able to come out.
Here's Hughes. And to Maddie Kemp, you heard from at halftime. Give away to Bolt. Now we'll give away to Puerta. Here's Pennick on the run for Jacksonville. Sporting JAX on the move. Jade Pennick Slides it through for Meg Hughes. Cut off nicely by Dallas.
Yeah, tough ball that was just a little bit behind her, but certainly wanted to make them pay for that turnover.
A little contact from Daviana Vaca, who we have seen not back down from physical play.
And she's matched up against a really tough player in Thornton, who's had such an impact in the last season. And honestly, we haven't really mentioned her name yet. So I think that's a good sign for the Sporting Jacks D.
Anna Davidson. Vaca gets ahead to it. Bounces over Pennick, who was pushed. Throw for Jacksonville.
Choppy start to this first half, much like the beginning of the game.
It has been just in limited bursts for both sides. Neither team really had extended periods of dominance in terms of being on the ball or creating great opportunities in the first half. Been a well-defended game by two teams with similar kind of expectation in terms of how to play. This one given away. Thornton with a boot that got caught up in Georgia Brown, maybe accidentally, and it saved an opportunity on goal.
Sporting Jacks is having to work awfully hard just to get out of their own defensive third, and maybe thinking about the technical ability to stretch them a little bit, or even just have a half turn so that they can get out of this pressure a little bit better.
Bolt now swung in toward the point. Strawn trying to get to it. Now played out wide, and nobody there in a gold shirt. So Julia Lester will carry it forward for Jacksonville. Once again, a giveaway. Dallas gives it right back. Pennick with Puerta running down the middle. Now to Kemp. Through for Puerta. A little too much on it. Puerta may have been offside. But
yeah, she appeared to be a step ahead. But good thought and good opportunity to capitalize on a turnover by the Trinity.
Here's Bolt getting past Vaca. On the move, Tamara Bolt. Georgia Brown there, and then covered up by Gerstenberg. Well done by Brown to redirect Bolt, who was coming on a pretty quick move toward the goal.
Vaca got spun there a little bit, but you have to appreciate her recovery speed. She made it difficult in her track back, and ultimately helped thwart an opportunity that could have been much worse.
Now can Jacksonville turn it? No. Dallas gets it right back. Right down the middle. Here comes Wisner. Defended by Kenton. Shot blocked by Georgia Brown. Second shot blocked. And this one sent over the top. And a goal kick coming for Jacksonville. Strawn was in there making a move, the 17-year-old.
We didn't talk about her much in the first half, but she's starting to come on. And, Sporting Jacks, Stacey Balaam has always talked about Georgia Brown's ability to block shots. We just saw that 2 in a row. And it was necessary because that looked to be a very, very dangerous opportunity.
Brown, who recently played for the Scotland U23 side. We mentioned was one of the first players signed by Sporting Jacks. Wisner plays it out wide. Bolt didn't get a good touch to it, and Meg Hughes spoils it away. Corner coming for Dallas Trinity. And once again, we see Sierra Hinson coming over to take it for the visitors.
She's had some great services on the set pieces. Again, we talked about Hutchinson. We've talked about Wisner. Let's see where this one lands.
Georgia Brown went up and got close to it. And Vaca is down momentarily. You have 2 chances every week to get the latest on Sporting Jacks. The Coaches Show, Tuesdays at 6 on 1010XL. And the Sporting Jacks Soccer Hour, Thursdays at 6 on AM 930 Fox Sports Radio and the iHeart app. If you just can't get enough of Becky and me.
And there's never enough of that, Cole.
Clearly. One headed forward. Gerstenberg, a little hesitation there. She came out of the box and just had to spoil it away to save some time.
Yeah, you wonder if Vaca's recovery is effective, her being down a minute ago, but it looked like there was a bit of confusion on whether she was coming or whether Gerstenberg was going to step out and clear it.
Dallas continues to dominate possession here in the early stages of the second half. This one ahead to Bolt, chasing after it, and able to keep it in right near the corner flag. And then kicked it off of the shin of Daviana Vaca. It'll be a corner kick for Dallas.
Sporting Jacks living a little bit dangerously here with the opportunities that they're giving Dallas. You know, Dallas has the ability to strike quickly, and set pieces seems to be something that they're really strong.
This will be the 5th corner of the game for Dallas Trinity. They scored their only goal last week against Brooklyn on a corner. And headed over the top. Another opportunity for Dallas.
You know, I know that Stacey Ballum wants Sporting Jacks to be first contact on that, but those are 2 dangerous balls in a row that Dallas Trinity has really been on the front foot of. And, you know, at this point, I noticed that Gerstenberg's going long here, which I think is a really smart decision, just to relieve a little bit of the pressure that Dallas has been putting on Sporting Jacks.
As we near the hour mark, you wonder about any player changes coming up. Now Kenton. And might have been a head-to-head there. That was Georgia Brown. Made contact going up for it. You talk about players who were difficult to replace. Georgia Brown, although she is just making her pro debut this season. You talk about 6'2", 6'3" center backs. They don't grow on trees.
Absolutely not. You know, I think Sporting Jacks is in a bit of a dilemma here, because if they go long, you're dealing with Brooks's ability to win a lot of air balls. If they play short, Dallas has done a terrific job of putting pressure and pressing and not letting them out too easily and creating some turnovers. So I think at this point, Jacksonville's got to decide to pick a poison here and see how they can somehow start to tilt this field in their end.
Brown will have to come off for a moment. A couple of Sporting Jacks players have taken off the pennies, started to loosen up. Jesse Hunt and Katie Sullivan. And so far, no move. And here they come toward the 4th official.
Again, we got Hinson and Bellata on a set piece.
Lancaster also off for the moment, so it's 10v10 right now. Here's Hinson. And headed away by Sporting Jacks. It was Vaca who got her head to it.
I think Sporting Jacks has got to be breathing a little bit of sigh of relief when you have your tallest player out for a set piece against a team that's very good at them. You're happy to get her back in the game.
Berg descended forward. Second ball picked up by Dallas.
Yeah, impressed again with Gerstenberg's distribution. I think Sporting JAX has just got to find a way to get on the end of those.
One set high over the top. Strawn chasing after it. Kenton cuts her off. Now Lester.
That's really well played out by Jacksonville.
Maddie Kemp feeding it back out to Lester on the wing. Looking to pick out Jade Pennick. Pennick goes down.
Pennick certainly has had some frustration with what she thinks are fouls, especially in pursuit. That one was probably a little bit of acting, but the one we just saw, probably not.
Sophie Jones, hands in the back there. And now, a couple of subs coming on for Jacksonville. Viviana Vaca coming off. Katie Sullivan coming on.
And they'll move Lester back into Vaca's spot. I think that's a really good shift by Vaca. You know, when she's come in the last two games, it's a whole different role than when you're starting. So I think she's had an impressive evening.
Jessie Kemp has come on, and Jessie Hunt has come on. Maddie Kemp has come off for Sporting JAX. So those two changes here, nearing the hour mark in a 0-0 game.
Substitution for Sporting JAX. Entering the game,
Mark Guidry with the throw.
Leaving the game, number 4.
Lester has moved to left back.
Presented by Pepsi. There's no substitute for Pepsi.
Another save by Gerstenberg. Another opportunity, again saved by Gerstenberg. She has been up to the challenge tonight.
Two big saves, and both of them at the near post.
Take another look. First one looked like it might have been on target. Second one, maybe just off. Too close to take a chance.
Dallas knocking on the door here. Gerstenberg has been up for the challenge.
Another Dallas corner coming. Bellata goes short with it.
Little 2v1 action.
Back to Bellata. Her shot just wide. That was a well-executed short corner for Dallas Trinity.
Yeah, it's tough when you've got a 2v1 out there. I mean, there's not a whole lot that one defender can do, particularly once Bellata got within shooting range.
That was Ashlyn Puerta who came to close her down. Georgia Brown. And taken away by Dallas. Lester then sends it back. And it is getting a little more physical as we reach the hour mark.
Yeah, not too surprising there either with that. I mean, both these teams have battled. And I think it's going to either come down to a great buildup, because we know both teams are capable of that, or a situation where the ball's turned over and somebody capitalizes.
Here's Jessie Hunt. Playing it out wide. And it will be a goal kick for Dallas.
Hopefully it's now Sporting JAX's opportunity to put a little pressure on Dallas in the build out.
Tipped over the top. Lester back on it with Bolt chasing after her. Talked about versatility. Lester has certainly shown that. Now here's Meg Hughes with some open room to run. Hughes has Hunt to her left. She'll take it herself, carry it into the box. Jessie Hunt. Back to Sophie Jones, now back to Hunt. To Jones. And kicked away for a Jacksonville corner.
No, I like the patience that Sporting JAX showed there. You know, they were on the break. Weren't such great opportunities. you know, give it to Sophie Jones. She tries to slow it down and gets an opportunity for a set piece here.
Sophia Bowman will take the corner. Sporting Jax Corners presented by Sunbelt Rentals, in your corner for all your equipment needs.
You know, offensive setup very similar to Dallas.
Headed away by Dallas. Kept back in.
Lots of contact.
Yep.
Bodies flying.
Just saying that set up for this match, which has seen more contact as the minutes have ticked by. And there were a lot of bodies in a contained area. Almost expected to see that coming.
I feel like Dallas's big adjustment in this second half has been the use of the width, particularly here on this right side. And it'll be a good matchup to see Leicester in this situation now against a player like Bolt. Vaca did a good job of shutting her down. I think Leicester's very capable of that too. But we have a turnover.
And here's Pennick. Jade Pennick on the run out. And didn't get much on it. Riley Foster needed a second chance to cover it. And Pennick will be thinking about that one tonight.
Yeah, Foster might be too. You know, that's it. That would be a tough way to give up a goal on a stub in your goal kick. But, you know, Pennick, I think, wanted to probably put that over the top. And instead just sort of gave it right back.
All right, this one played down by Jacksonville. That is Paige Kenton. Now Leicester with Bolt right next to her. Could just spray it away.
I think as the time ticks away here, the tension's going to ratchet up for both of these teams to create something. And if you, for the half, you have to give Dallas the edge in terms of chances created, but I would not count out Sporting Jack's ability to generate something quickly.
There'll be a throw from near the corner flag here for Dallas Trinity. Backing up. And this one is well wide.
Looks like we might see Cam Lancaster exiting this game.
Yeah, she's been on the deck a couple of times. This looks like maybe a calf cramp, perhaps. A couple of Dallas players starting to loosen up here.
It was a great look for her to try and hit that volley. You know, that was a quick release. Hopefully it didn't. Hopefully it's just a cramp and nothing more than that, and she can continue in this game.
And there are two players walking over toward the scorer's table. We'll get some Dallas substitutions coming here shortly. Here's a high ball over the top. Katie Sullivan trying to run to it. Back to Foster for Dallas. Controlled by Jacksonville. Jesse Hunt got to it. Here's Bowman. Now Hunt. And played back to Georgia Brown. Here comes Meg Hughes. Hughes sliding it through. An opportunity here for Sporting Jax. Pennick could not quite find the right spot for it. And the offside flag up. Let's take another look at that one. That looked like it was developing into quite the opportunity.
Yeah, just a little bit early in. And maybe, you know, her run took her past the near post, which gave her not a whole lot of angle. But I just love the idea that she's looking to press that back line.
Here come the subs for Dallas. Caroline Kelly comes in.
Caroline Kelly's another Dallas product, played at TCU after starting her career at St. Louis University. And, man, she was a goal-scoring machine at TCU coming off the bench. So this is a role she's super familiar with. That's a player to keep an eye on for sure.
Substitutions presented by Gatorade. The other sub is Gracie Bryan, another former TCU player. Here we go. We'll see what happens here as the game plays out. Gracie Bryan, last year, all of her goals came in road matches for Dallas.
Well, that's definitely two players to watch. Adding some fresh legs and the offensive firepower is not necessarily a bad move for Dallas. Let's see if we can make that pay off for them. Not quite sure what that call was. Maybe a player coming from an offsides position.
There was an emphatic conversation going on with Jade Pennick there for the moment.
She's had a few of those tonight.
Right, here is Bowman in the middle of the park. Another Puerta.
Yeah, Puerta's been a little quiet this half. I'd love to see her get on the ball a little bit more. And to be fair, you know, part of that is because Sporting JAX hasn't really been in the attacking third, which is where she does her magic.
Here's a giveaway. And Wisner swinging one in. This one going all the way through. And Katie Sullivan back to chase after it. Sullivan, the number 2 all-time goal scorer and assist creator in the history of the program at Johns Hopkins. And she has been making the adjustment from being primarily a forward to now playing on the wing as a professional.
That's one of the things you love to see, is the ability for players at this level to adapt to different positions. You know, we've seen it on both teams to a real strong extent in this game in particular.
We also have a sub for Kylie Delaney, who's in, number 3 for Dallas. So some fresh legs for Trinity. Here's Delaney, the former Arkansas Razorback.
And I'll tell you what, Colby Hale, Arkansas coach, could not say enough good things about Kylie. One of the best, you know, one of his favorite players he's ever coached. And Colby's created a lot of legacy with the players he's coached at Arkansas. So that's high praise for Kylie.
Dallas a shot from distance, and it was well covered by Gerstenberg, who let it go over the top. That was Caroline Kelly taking a shot from a long way away.
You know, I think that's why Dallas made these substitutions, to get a little bit of a jump start in their progress in terms of the attack, and Kelly's not afraid to take that.
She had been a late sub in the first 2 matches this season, so this is the earliest she's been into a game. Former Brooklyn FC player.
And even with her limited time at Brooklyn, you know, she had just a few appearances there, but also, you know, scored a couple of goals there too. So she's somebody to keep an eye on for sure.
Here is the run by Sullivan for Sporting JAX. It'll be a throw coming for Dallas as we've gone past the 71st minute. Again, this may be all about which side can find that one special moment, that one connection. Or will it be taking advantage of a mistake? Puerta tried to slide it through. A little too much for Pennick to get to. Foster sends it back out. There's Lester right in a great spot. Now a giveaway, and back the other way, coming Dallas. Bolt with Georgia Brown trying to cover her, and Kenton spoils it away.
That was a dangerous situation because Lester got pulled high, Georgia Brown got pulled out, and all of a sudden there wasn't a whole lot in the middle.
Here's Delaney sending it toward the spot, headed away by Sporting JAX. Delaney gets back on it. Tries to travel it wide. Cut off there by Meg Hughes. Sophie Jones doing the work as well. Now another giveaway. Sporting JAX has had a hard time possessing the ball for any length of time here in the second half. Dallas is really clamping on defensively.
Yeah, Dallas's counter press has been impressive. As soon as they lose it, they're right back on it. And there's 2, 3, 4 people around the ball because they've got those numbers there to keep possession. I think that's something that, maybe Sporting JAX needs to look a little bit further afield when they're trying to get out.
Here's Wisner again. Once again on the attack, Dallas, but this one easily handled by Gerstenberg. The Gainbridge Super League season officially underway. Visit GainbridgeSuperLeague.com for all the latest information, analysis, and insight into all things Super League.
You can see this game getting stretched a little bit, and I think that's going to be a big factor in what happens with this. Looks like we've got another substitution with Bolt coming off.
Rhea Moore comes in, an academy player for Dallas Trinity. She's been a USC commit. And Bolt certainly made an impact on this game, but no goals to speak of. Substitution presented by Gatorade. Here's Penix. That'll be a throw for Jacksonville.
A little shift in the forward line for Dallas as well. We've got Kelly coming out to the right-hand side to match up against Leicester.
Here's Puerta looking for some space. Ashlyn Puerta into the middle for Hughes, and then it's played away, so a corner coming for Sporting JAX.
Once again, get Puerta on the ball in the attacking third, and good things are going to happen. That was a really nice ball that she played. A little bit of untimed runs on the other end of it, but you certainly can't fault her for making things happen in that attacking third.
And a player down, that's Hannah Davidson for Dallas. Second team All-League pick a year ago, Davidson. And the corner coming from Jacksonville. They'll go short with it. Here's Puerta. Played it toward the spot. And Kenton with a turn.
We saw that short corner work against Tampa, so it's worthwhile to try it.
There's Caroline Kelly trying to work it through Leicester, able to get through. Jacksonville with too many numbers there. Sophia Bowman will play it back for Jamie Gerstenberg. There is another Jacksonville sub ready to come in. Andrea Fernandez is waiting. Here's Pennick. Jade Pennick with Puerta coming in support. Didn't get much on that one. But Pennick's had a couple of opportunities that she'll want back after this one.
Yeah, that's a tough one. There was really numbers up for Sporting JAX there. Dallas did a good job of delaying. And here's another opportunity potentially on the way.
Hunt to Pennick. Got ahead to it. And this one will roll out for a throw. Jade Pennick has been working hard this evening for Sporting JAX.
One of the hardest pieces to put together, I think, is the final piece with attacking. And I think those connections between Pennick and Puerta are just going to get better.
And we're going to take a timeout here for a water break as we've gone past the 75th minute. Let's go down and check in with Emerson Burris one more time.
Thanks, guys. On this Sporting JAX team, there's a few friendships being reunited, one being Sophia Bowman and Jessie Hunt. The two grew up in Edina, Minnesota, and ended up in the same kindergarten class and has been best friends ever since. They went to school together up until their college years, where Bowman went to the University of Minnesota and Jessie Hunt went to Wisconsin and then ended her career at Northwestern. They're now both in Jacksonville, living out their childhood dreams together.
Well, can you imagine starting your professional career with your friend from kindergarten?
I bet there's not a lot of that happening. So what a great stat that is, Emerson. Really great fact there to share with everybody.
Bowman is just the Energizer Bunny, just keeps going. Hunt, very versatile, and can play up front in the midfield on the wing. And now we'll get a Jacksonville substitution as well. And Andrea Fernandez coming in. And she will replace Jade Pennick. Fernandez, who played just down the road in St. Augustine in her college career for Flagler College. And she was an absolute goal-scoring machine as a collegiate. 75 goals in 78 matches. And looking for her first professional goal here in her rookie campaign.
I'm excited to see Fernandez's development because I think she's really been adjusting well to this change in level for her, and that's going to come more and more. And to see her and Puerta together, they both are similar in their creativity. That's going to be fun to watch that develop.
Sees the game so well, grew up in Spain. Said she felt at home when she came to Flagler because a lot of the streets were named Spanish names. It helped her adjust. Didn't really speak the language when she got here. Had to get an accelerated program to learn the language. Now holds a great conversation and just loves to play the game. Loves the area. She says it feels like home now.
Those palm trees in Spain and in Florida.
Out wide now for Caroline Kelly for Dallas. Sending it toward the spot. Kicked away. Now Sophie Jones with the takeaway. Got Fernandez streaking down the middle. Bowman to the left. Or rather Puerta. Puerta had it for a moment. And was pushed off of it by Kylie Delaney.
I think Kylie Delaney has already put a little bit of a stamp on this game. I'm sure she's someone who's going to be pushing for more and more playing time with this Dallas team.
When you see these players coming from their college ranks into the pros, you never know exactly how they'll adjust, but she's adjusted very well. Here's Puerta on the ground. Missed that one just wide, pushed aside by Foster, and a corner kick coming once again. Ashlyn Puerta in the middle of a goal-scoring opportunity.
You know, I think that was actually a much more difficult save than it looked. It looked like a bit of a slow roller, but just the angle of it made for a tough save for Foster.
Jessie Hunt setting up Puerta there, as she did for Ashlyn's second goal against Tampa Bay. They'll go short to Puerta. Now to Hunt. Into the middle.
Oh, what a great
opportunity
idea
there. Fernandez was right there. Well drawn up and executed short corner. You saw Fernandez put her hands to her head. And this one gets through Fernandez and back to Riley Foster.
I'll be honest, I was questioning going two when Dallas had put two out there to defend it. But then the third and became a 3v2. That was a really creative play.
Julia Lester back on the ball. Now an opportunity for Allie Thornton, the Golden Boot winner from a year ago. Facing up on Georgia Brown, gets around her, and got to the byline and beyond it. Stay up to date with the Gainbridge Super League. Sign up for the Super Newsletter. Get news about your favorite team and stories from around the league delivered directly to your inbox weekly. Sign up at GainbridgeSuperLeague.com/newsletter.
Been a bit of a frustrating night for Allie Thornton, but you know the great goal scorers, all they need is just a moment. So I wouldn't say that night is over for her. Although I think that
another giveaway here, and this one gets through Gerstenberg for the goal. There's that moment we were talking about for Dallas and Trinity finding the net to take the 1-0 lead here in the final 10 minutes of regulation.
Wow, that's a tough giveaway. You can see like when the fatigue starts setting in, those kind of giveaways become more frequent. And both teams, to be fair, have gotten away with a few, but that was a clinical finish.
Rhea Moore, an Academy player Talked about the success that Celie Strawn had as Academy player for Dallas. And here's Moore getting the goal. The Sacramento native makes it a 1-0 Dallas lead.
Still enough time in this game for Jacksonville to equalize, but, you know, certainly they will want that back.
Caroline Murray now on for Jacksonville. Meg Hughes sits down.
Murray brings some experience and leadership in these waning moments of this game. She's been in these situations before, and I hope she can bring some composure and a little bit of an ability to manage that with the urgency that this situation is going to require.
32-year-old, last played in Iceland, also has played in a number of other Northern European countries, and she's very comfortable down the wings. See if she can deliver one in here for Sporting JAX. The clock now becoming an ally of Dallas.
Well, we talked about Dallas's substitutions, particularly on the offensive side. And certainly you have to look at Chris Petroselli's moves, and they've paid off at this point.
And putting a young Academy player in. Very impressive. Rhea Moore at 16 years of age scoring the goal. After we saw the 17-year-old Celie Strawn last year become a young goal scorer. Here's Sophie Jones. Laying it off for Fernandez. Now out wide for Caroline Murray. Murray tried to cross one in, blocked away. It'll be a throw for Jacksonville.
Starting to see a little bit more urgent play from JAX.
Cleared off the foot and out of Leicester, so it'll be a throw for Dallas. And Trinity FC will not be in any kind of hurry right now.
And you even see Leicester, who's playing in that back three, trying to make an offensive push because they know they're trying to seek this equalizer.
There's Jones. Back to Paige Kenton. Now out wide for Caroline Murray, but couldn't catch up to it. That in microcosm has been really the thing holding Jacksonville back today. One touch. Whether it's been too heavy or too wide, just haven't been able to connect enough of them together.
I think for a team that prides themselves on their technical ability, this is a learning experience for this team for sure.
Here's Georgia Brown coming forward from her center back position. Brown carrying it all the way forward. Out wide now for Katie Sullivan. Sullivan sends it in. Brown was in the area. And now sent all the way back.
You got to love the attacking nature of the defenders for Sporting JAX, particularly given the time and score, and the ability for them to have that impact in the attack.
Lucy Shepard now coming ready to come on for Dallas at the next opportunity. Gerstenberg coming forward. Paige Kenton bringing it forward for Sporting JAX to Jessie Hunt. Now Caroline Murray. Ahead for Hunt. Looking to pick somebody out on the cross. Right out in front. Another chance for Sporting JAX.
And what a great opportunity that was.
Opportunities there.
Absolutely.
Take another look. Several chances for Sporting JAX to equalize. First the header from Huerta. And Sullivan sent it back in.
Impressive save by Foster. You know, you have to say that Dallas is not afraid to use their reserves, and those moves have paid off. I think he initially put on some reserves on the attacking side. Now it looks like he's trying to get some fresh legs on the defense because Sporting JAX has sort of captured a little bit of momentum here.
You have Lucy Shepard, veteran who's in. On the run. Chased by Julia Lester down to the corner flag. She'll just try to hold Lester off. Lester will kick it. It'll be a throw from right next to the corner flag. But Shepard, 26-year-old, played for the England U17s and U19s. Also played for Blackburn Rovers. Last season with Dallas, 1 goal, 3 assists in 17 appearances. And she came on late against Brooklyn. She's doing it again here to try to help salt this one away for Dallas as Trinity try to remain unbeaten on the season.
And you can see they're going to take advantage of Gerstenberg's ability to ping it here. But the key is got to win the first and second.
Long ball from Gerstenberg. Katie Sullivan tried to get to it, could not. It'll be a throw for Jacksonville. Quickly ahead. Andrea Fernandez tried to get to it. Played back out by the Dallas defense. Here's Puerta again, trying to find a little opening. Right along the byline. Now back to Katie Sullivan. Sophie Jones with 3 gold shirts around her. Out wide to Sullivan again. It'll be a Jacksonville corner as we near the final minute of regulation time. High, punched away by Foster. Lester from distance. Header by Georgia Brown and covered by Foster.
Defender to defender. Lester serves a good ball in. Georgia Brown still in the box.
Another look. Brown, who, when she was the W League's Defender of the Year, she scored more goals than her team allowed.
Wow.
So on balls into the box like that, she is very comfortable going up with the headers. That time couldn't get it past Foster. There will be 7 minutes of stoppage time at minimum coming up here as we reach the 90-minute mark.
That's good news for Sporting JAX because they really have grabbed the momentum here, and if they can hang on to that, I think it's going to be a long 7 minutes for Dallas to play in their own end. Of course, the challenge of that is, you know, you really leave yourself exposed when Lester's serving the ball to Georgia Brown in the box. You know you've got some issues happening behind you because that's 2 of your 3 in the 3-5-2, also in the attacking third.
And Davidson coming off for the moment. Hey, talked about throwing caution to the wind, and why not when you're down a goal with stoppage time bearing down on you. Lucy Shepard had come off. She comes back on. Stacey Balaam trying to dial up that magic moment. And now a yellow card shown to the bench for Dallas. They're going to get the acting head coach Chris Petroselli for the discipline.
You wonder what that conversation was.
Foster will take all the time she can before sending this one afield.
Lucy.
Along the near side, there's Lucy Shepard chasing after it.
Oh boy. think Jacksonville got away with one there. And it's certainly not intentional, but player taken down from behind in the box in the recovery.
Here's Gerstenberg to play it forward for Jacksonville. In stoppage time, Andrea Fernandez racing after it. It'll be a throw for Sporting JAX.
Gerstenberg's distribution becoming a bit of an offensive weapon here.
It has not yet led to a goal. Remember, the only clean sheet so far in the league this season was last week. Dallas turning the trick against Brooklyn, trying to make the second week in a row a 1-0 victory. Gerstenberg has to play it out. Played 3 minutes of stoppage time here at Hodges Stadium.
Jacksonville's playing the high-risk, high-reward game, certainly leaving themselves exposed at the back, but at this point, you know, they're trying to equalize to get the point.
Another throw coming from Dallas. Now played in, sent forward for Jacksonville. Again, just along the touchline. Again, Dallas is not going to be in the rush that Jacksonville will be.
It's really hard to just stay present in these moments, and Jacksonville needs to do exactly that if they want to put a few passes together here to get through this Dallas defense.
Kenton trying to bolster the defense on that side. Sent back in. Now an opportunity for Dallas. Heavy touch, though. Cut off by Georgia Brown and booted away. That was Rhea Moore, the goal scorer.
Rhea Moore finding herself in the right place at the right time. And again, I think she would like that one back because it looked like she was in.
They'll take it right to the corner flag. Caroline Murray defending over there.
And that's Caroline Murray against Caroline Kelly. A heads-up play by Kelly to take some time off the clock.
The throw cut off by Sophie Jones. Now here's Puerta trying to find some space forward. The Dallas defense, as it has been most of the game, airtight.
Yeah, that counter press and the tracking back caught Puerta a little bit from behind.
Lester with the cutoff. Now Puerta. Again, the Dallas defense too tough.
Yeah, you can see why Dallas is the only team that's gotten the clean sheet. They've really done a great job of pressing immediately once their team loses possession.
Caroline Kelly. It'll be a throw for Jacksonville. As time becomes an even more valuable commodity here. Ahead to Hunt. Now lobbed toward the goal. Foster there easily with it. Again, minimum 7 minutes of stoppage time. And Jacksonville so far has not been able to find that combination to unlock the Dallas defense. Chance for Jacksonville here from distance.
Yeah, this might be the final chance that Jacksonville gets with the clock winding down and a set piece. Oh, well, trying to go quick to catch him off guard.
And referee Lauren Aldrich said, not so fast. Now Gerstenberg will come forward.
Gotta love the keeper in the box.
All 11 in the attacking end here for Jacksonville.
Trying to do her best to listen there.
Sophia Bowman chips it toward the box, headed back out by Dallas. Bowman chasing after it.
And who clears that but Wisner, the one we've talked about from a defensive header perspective all game long. And there
it is. Dallas remains unbeaten and untied with a 1-0 victory over Sporting JAX here in Jacksonville. And the Academy player, Rhea Moore, the goal scorer, getting it done for Dallas and scoring in the 82nd minute. Stacey Balaam's squad still looking for that first home victory as Dallas gets it done on the road. A very impressive performance. Dallas now 9 points from 3 matches in the early season.
You know, Dallas has constructed a great roster, and you can see why. Their depth really played a role in this game, particularly their young players. But I think that, you know, Jacksonville has a lot to build with this game, too. Again, they've shown they can play with the top teams in the league, and unfortunately, an error is the difference in this one.
All right, time now for the save of the game presented by Pepsi, and it was one of many turned in by Jamie Gerstenberg. Back-to-back. Gerstenberg played a very impressive game today.
Absolutely. You know, this one in particular, when you have to get up and make 2 saves back-to-back like that, that really gives your team a lot of confidence.
And the player of the match, presented by Visit Jacksonville, Jamie Gerstenberg. She was a busy keeper in this one. And all the way down until the end. She is our Jacksonville player of the game. 1-0 Dallas Trinity, the victory here in Jacksonville. Back with more after this. 1-0 Dallas Trinity goes to 3 wins from 3 matches on the young season with a win over Sporting JAX here in Jacksonville. The lone goal scored by Rhea Moore, who is standing by with Emerson Burris.
Rhea Moore, it is a name we're going to remember. Just 15 years old, first professional goal tonight. Walk me through the emotions.
I was just super happy, and my team was just there yelling and jumping with me, and I was so happy.
You had the lone goal of the game. What worked for the team tonight in the final third?
I think our pressing, we were all working super hard to just press and earn the ball.
You guys are undefeated, top team in the league right now. What does this do for the confidence of the team going forward for the rest of the season?
I feel like we have momentum now, so we're just ready to keep on going.
Rhea, thanks so much. Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
Guys, back to you.
All right, Emerson, thank you so much. Yeah, that's a moment that 16-year-old will remember Becky Burley for a long time.
Absolutely.
There were plenty of moments in this one, but the chances went by the wayside for the most part. Tamara Bolt couldn't quite rise to get that one in the second half. Then Bolt put one on the ground, covered by Jamie Gerstenberg, who was very solid in goal tonight. 8 saves for Gerstenberg this evening. Whether it was on corners, set pieces, Dallas kept chipping away. Jacksonville continued to ward off the attack until the Academy player made the big play. But again, here was Gerstenberg, first one save, then the second. Take a look again. Gerstenberg had a whale of a night for Jacksonville. This might have been the best opportunity for Sporting JAX. Ashlyn Puerta off the feed from Jesse Hunt. The ball just pushed wide by Riley Foster, who didn't have nearly as many to play with. But there is the only goal of the game. Rhea Moore in the 82nd minute got it off the hands of Gerstenberg for the score, and that was enough for Dallas Trinity to remain perfect on the season. 3 wins from 3 matches, and Dallas will remain atop the table after their second consecutive 1-0 victory in the Gamebridge Super League. For more post-game coverage, stick around on WJXT Channel 4. For those watching on Peacock, we say goodnight from Jacksonville.
Greetings from Jacksonville, the flip side of Florida. Here, you'll find flip-flops and cowboy boots, sushi and soul food, surfers and skaters, Mozart and monster trucks, beachgoers and townies. Find art galleries and city murals, funky neighborhoods, and historic districts. Spend the day on the river or at the beach, in the park or on the trail, at the game or on the green. On the flip side, anything is possible, except running out of things to do. Learn more at visitjacksonville.com.
150 years, Ascension St. Vincent's has delivered award-winning compassionate care across Northeast Florida with 4 hospitals, primary care offices, urgent care centers, and freestanding emergency departments throughout the region. From everyday wellness to advanced specialty care, including heart, cancer, orthopedics, brain and spine surgery, and women's health, we're here for you when you need us most. Get the care you count on, close to home. Learn more at ascension.org/St. Vincent's.
At Honda of the Avenues, we do things a little differently. While we may be a high-volume Honda dealership, we always put our customers first, making the car buying experience what it should be: fun, fast, and easy. You'll always find great deals on our huge selection of new Hondas. Plus, when you buy your new Honda from Honda of the Avenues, you get an additional 1-year maintenance. Come see just how different car buying can be at Honda of the Avenues. Stop by or shop from home at HondaoftheAvenues.com.
So let me tell you what that really means. are back with a new season. Join us for a full half hour of scores, highlights, and features on Varsity 4 football.
Fridays at 10:30. Presented by the accident attorneys at Farah and Farah.
Welcome back to Hodges Stadium. Following the 1-0 Dallas Trinity victory over Sporting JAX. More Sporting JAX coverage to come. In fact, we should tell you about a friendly coming up on the schedule. First, let's take a look at the league schedule presented by Adidas. Next week on Saturday, it's a matchup against Carolina Ascent here at Hodges Stadium. Then there'll be a friendly. We'll tell you about it in just a moment. The following weekend, it's a trip to Carolina to play the Ascent. First of 3 straight road matches for Sporting JAX at Brooklyn FC on October the 4th and October the 14th at DC Power FC before coming back home to face the defending champion Tampa Bay Sun for the second time this year. That is October the 18th. That is what the next 5 league matches looks like for Sporting JAX. However, within that schedule, there is a friendly coming up here at Hodges Stadium. KC Current 2 coming to town on September the 19th. It's a Friday night, a little Friday Night Lights for you here at Hodges Stadium. For tickets, call 904-863-KICK or go to sportingjax.com/tickets. If you're a season ticket holder, you already have this ticket within your season ticket package. This is the replacement for the rained-out matchup against the Scottish champions Hibernian FC. All right, let's hear a little bit more about one of the Sporting JAX stars, the captain, Sophie Jones. Let's learn a little bit more about her.
The nation's top recruits went on to star at Duke and then played professionally in Chicago before coming to Jacksonville.
I grew up in Menlo Park, California. I have the best parents ever. They're awesome. And I have a twin brother, Austin. He's the best. We're super close. An awesome childhood full of sports and love.
That early love for games turned her into a true sports fanatic, someone who lives for playing and watching.
I got to meet Abby Wambach and we played Papa Shot together and had dinner, and I was just all right, I think my life can end now.
And as a fan, one memory stands above the rest.
2015 World Cup final. Went to Vancouver, was with my best friend and my mom and my grandma, 5-2, Carly Hattrick, it's hard to beat, you know what I mean?
Off the field, Jones keeps herself busy with a long list of hobbies.
My hobby is having hobbies. Anything to do with sports. Chicago, I got very into rec sports. So bowling league, ping pong league, kickball, beach volleyball league, trivia team. I love to puzzle, and board games. I do play Xbox. I'm at 4.5 book clubs.
And when it comes to leading Sporting JAX, her approach is all about mindset.
I'm a very process-oriented person, and I'm really just one day at a time. I'm a big puzzler, so one piece at a time, quite literally. But I think just maximizing every day, and just not looking too far ahead, not getting worried, and just kind of being in the moment.
That's Sophie Jones. There's the captain. She'll be called upon to help lead Sporting JAX to bounce back after a 1-0 loss to Dallas Trinity FC tonight here at Hodges Stadium. Let's hear from the head coach, Stacey Balaam, standing by with Emerson Burris.
Coach, not the result that you were looking for tonight, but you're back at home, no rain. We had a crowd tonight. How does it feel to be back here without all of the added obstacles?
Yeah, always nice to be back at home, and the fans were fantastic tonight, so we appreciate all of their support. Still looking for that first win at home, so, we go again next week.
Looking ahead to Carolina next week, what needs to be worked on in training this coming week?
We got a lot of lessons to learn. We got to put 90 minutes together. We took our foot off the gas at times, and we kind of lost momentum during the game. It's fine margins in games, and unfortunately, the ball didn't fall our way towards the end. We couldn't, equalise, but we've got to fix a lot of things. I need to reflect through video and watch it back and talk with the staff and see how we move forward with this.
Coach, thanks so much for the time.
Thank you.
Guys.
All right, Emerson, thanks so much. Well, Becky Burley, you heard Stacey Balaam there talking about feeling like the team took their foot off the gas a little bit. Did you see that today?
I don't know if it was so much them taking their foot off the gas or if it was Dallas's press. I thought their counter press was really a big story of this game. They did a terrific job of shutting down passing lanes, and particularly in the second half, I mean, they were just all over it as soon as they lost the ball. They won it back very, very quickly.
Well, we've seen the tale of two halves, in a way, against Tampa Bay last week. The second half, all Jacksonville coming out of the locker room. Here tonight, Dallas came out, looked like a different team.
That's true, and I think that's one of the things that Stacey's referring to about the learning process with this team. Being able to provide a consistent effort over and over and over again, that takes some competitive stamina, and that's probably something that this team is still learning.
You could hear in Stacey Balem's voice that this one hurt a little bit. She wanted to get that win here at home for the home fans. So what do you do now looking forward? You've got Carolina Ascent, as we mentioned, coming in. They were a team last year that was number one in the regular season. They had the best record, didn't come to fruition in the playoffs. But this is a veteran team that's been through the wars already.
Absolutely, and a really well-coached team. I mean, this league doesn't let up, and we know that. I mean, every game is going to be a battle. And I think that's going to season this team, particularly if they look at these situations not as losses, but more as opportunities to learn and grow and take that to a less emotional level and more of a rational level.
You started up the program at Florida, so in the first year, sometimes things get magnified because you don't have as much to fall back on. 3 games now for Sporting JAX. We've seen some big moments, and we've seen one win. What do you take away from what you've seen so far from this team through the first 3 matches?
There's so many positives. I think Ashlyn Puerta keeps getting better and better. She was a real factor in this game, particularly in the first half. Just anytime she's in the attacking third, there's issues. And I think Sophie Jones is really taking this team by the horns in terms of being able to set the tone and being able to connect passes. And there's pieces that are still coming together, too. The ability for the back three to switch people in and out like they have and still maintain a really, really solid back line. There's something to be said for that.
We need to talk about Jamie Gerstenberg. 8 saves tonight. She didn't start the opener here at home, so this was her first game here at Hodges Stadium. I thought she was terrific.
She was really good, and not just defensively. I mean, clearly she made some big saves, but she also provided a real spark offensively. I think her distribution is something that they can build on and utilize that in different ways than they have so far, but also build on what they've started.
All right, well, let's take a look at some of the numbers from tonight's matchup between Sporting JAX and Dallas. Look at the shots that Dallas was able to get off. 23 shots in total, 9 of them on target, only 1 got through. Despite that, Sporting JAX had the edge with possession. That was about the number it was at halftime. Offsides calls, we saw plenty of them against Sporting JAX for sure. But you see those numbers. I think the result probably was accurate to the performances on the field.
Yeah, I think Dallas was the better team tonight. They deserved this win just based on the pressure that they provided. I think they disrupted Sporting JAX's goal in terms of trying to possess, and it doesn't look like that from the numbers in terms of possession, but in terms of meaningful possession, I think they were able to disrupt.
Anybody else that stood out to you today, do you think can really build on this performance? We talked about Jamie Gerstenberg and her performance, Ashlyn Puerta and how she was able to create in the first half. Who else jumps out at you that you think, hey, they can look at the game film here and build toward next week?
I think about Julia Lester and her ability to play kind of anywhere on the field. She's been out wide. She's been in the back three. And, she gets matched up against a lot of teams' best players. And in kind of in a different challenge tonight because first she's facing Tamara Bolt, who athletically is just, outstanding. Then they make some changes. They've got a player like Caroline Kelly who's a little bit more crafty. And I think her ability to deal with whatever is kind of thrown her way is pretty impressive.
Well, what Jacksonville will be looking for now going forward is more performances like they had last Saturday against the Tampa Bay Sun when Sporting JAX went on the road against the defending champs in their place and got it done. Meg Hughes got the first goal last week, and then Ashlyn Puerta scoring a pair, one on a penalty and the other on a short corner. There are a lot of moments to build on here through the first 3 weeks for Sporting JAX. The best of them, the most of them came last week against Tampa Bay. But as you see this team develop, this is the only expansion team in this league this year. So in some ways, they're kind of learning on the fly as these other teams and clubs have learned through the first year plus. Those are the kind of moments you want to build on. How much as a coach do you focus on the good? How much on the needs to be improved?
I hope it's an opportunity for them to see the things they're doing right and also to improve the things they need to improve upon. I mean, clearly, the ability for the disruption of the press of Dallas is something that you can work on. I mean, I think that Jacksonville will take that as a challenge because they want a team to press them. They want to be able to get through those teams that want to take the risk and do that. So that's something I think is going to be a huge plus.
I want to point out here what's happening as we look ahead to the next matchup against Carolina Ascent a week from tonight, 7:30 kickoff presented by SeatGeek. You see Andrea Fernandez right there signing autographs. Saw Julia Lester there a little bit earlier. It's not just the little girls who come up asking for autographs with this first-year club. It's soccer players, soccer families, sports fans, those who want to support women's sports, those who want to support sports teams in Jacksonville, coming up and getting these autographs, having those moments, and experiencing what it's like to have your professional club. This is the first professional women's team of any sport in Jacksonville. It's great to see that kind of community reaction.
100%. And, to see kids come up in full kits and, really just look at these players, like really looking up to them. That's what the vision of this was right from the beginning. And I think we're starting to see that come to fruition.
You see a number of the players there out of the locker room signing autographs, even after what certainly is going to be a disappointing loss. I think there's a lot that they can take from this match as they move forward. You also, when you play a match like this, you have to put in perspective who you were facing. And this is a team in Dallas that very well, they have started out as the best team in the league so far. They've played like it as well. They've played different styles and won, and they played their style tonight and beat Jacksonville by just that one lone goal.
Yeah, and, you mentioned it earlier, and I think it's a really poignant issue, which is all these teams are fine-tuning. Jacksonville's just putting the pieces together. That gives these teams a little bit of an inherent advantage, but for Jacksonville to be in a situation where they are competing and this close to that level in year one, that says a lot.
Really does. They've been in every game. Again, this 1-0 in it till the 82nd minute. It was level against DC Power in the opener. They scored the first goal and then didn't concede until late in the first half, and then the win against Tampa. So we're still learning about this team, what they are as a unit. We're learning about the individuals that make up the bigger unit. I think it's a good group here, and I'm excited to see what happens moving forward with Stacey Balem's club.
I'm really excited, too. I think this staff is a really good staff in terms of being able to manage the encouragement side of it, plus make sure that they're taking the lessons from these games. But I also think that this team, despite their lack of maybe maturity and age, has a maturity that looks like a team that's already been in this league more than just 3 games.
Yeah, and that's tough to come by. That's really a credit to the staff to have been able to get them on the same page, playing the same kind of soccer, and also in some regard choosing the right players who could do that very quickly for what's happened here in Jacksonville. All right, thanks so much for tuning in and watching Sporting JAX, a 1-0 loss to Dallas Trinity here at Hodges Stadium on the UNF campus. For Becky Burley, for Emerson Burris, and our entire crew, Cole Pepper saying thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you next time when Sporting JAX takes the field in the Gainbridge Super League.